YouTube, this is Ty, and welcome to the
Light
Test
'em
of the
up,
Ty
light
channel.
'em up,
Trying something a
light
little
'em
bit
up,
different for
light
you all
'em up.
tonight. Let me know
Fair
if
use
you
and
like this or
educational
not.
purposes were
If you
intended.
like it, then
We're
I
about
will
to light 'em
continue
up.
this series. I'll just want some suggestions for topics. So today I'm doing something a little
Love
bit
and
different.
happiness.
Some
About to light
old
'em up.
school tea.
A little bit of love and
We all
happiness, y'all.
joke about, the lady who threw the hot grits on Al Green, and many of us have, joked about it from time to time, calling him, Al Grits Green and whatever. And there were a lot of things going on around when there was that whole grits challenge.
Al Grits
on
Green,
Facebook
that's better than a volcano.
ago. But what a lot of people don't know, or maybe forgot, is that woman who threw those grits on him, her name is Mary Woodson, and this is her. She was his then girlfriend.
Oh, he was her girlfriend. Everybody's your girlfriend, nigga. When you're young, I mean, I ain't saying it like that, but I'm just saying, nigga, how you know what a girlfriend was? He was Al Green. Can't nobody own Al Green, and couldn't nobody own her. So what the fuck, man? They was just should have been thankful for the little bit of time they shared together, or whatever they was doing. But as far as killing each other because they couldn't just be like loyal, faithful to each other, no, then they had to separate. And I guess that's what happened, because if you throw some grits on somebody and you don't separate, then fuck all of that. Something wrong with you.
We all want to connect more with what
Yeah, we
matters
want to
most in our
connect, but
lives.
not with no grits. Fuck that.
Beautiful lady here. She ended up immediately killing herself.
Yeah, I doubt
after
that. I doubt that, nigga. I don't think she killed this. Y'all, nigga, I don't think she had to kill herself, nigga. That a bitch. The grits killed her.
Threw those grits on him and caused him second and third degree burns.
Oh Lord,
back,
that was
chest,
bubbles. He had bubbles for days. That nigga had a bubble. Do you know how painful that bubble was? Did she say chest and back? How nigga gonna get to sleep? Chest and back. They had to have that nigga full up with painkillers. Man, I mean, cause that sound like you don't, right? But look, that's a big surface area. If he had it all on his back and on his chest, I mean, grits, burns, bubbles and shit. You know what I mean, nigga? What? That's a lot of surface area. First of all, he gonna get infected because it's gonna turn into a bubble if it didn't just rub off the skin automatically. It might not even bubble up, because they say second degree burns. That shit might not even bubble up. It just might the whole skin just come off, because it bubble up when the skin's still on, right? And then you gotta bust the bubble, and then the skin will come off. His shit might have just dripped down. I don't know how hot that shit was, but he was either gonna have some bubbles, or he was gonna have some deep ass wounds, and it was gonna cause infection, or they was gonna be so fucking painful. Like I said, he was gonna need some drugs to be able to. He damn sure wasn't getting no sleep. Put it like that.
On that,
cause how you gonna lay down?
Horrible night back in October of 1974. So here is an article back from when that actually happened. This is, and let me, go on and give you my sources for this before we go on.
Give me your
go
sources,
further.
baby. Give me your sources.
Are clearly the New York Times. So you can see Vibe, Boombox.com, and the Chicago Tribune. The articles date back from 1974 to as recent as 2015 that I'm using for this. And so, this is the article here. Obviously, you're not going to be able to read that, so I'll go on and tell you what that says. It says, a former girlfriend dumped a pan of scalding grits on Al Green, a popular singer, today as he was getting out of the bathtub, and then apparently shot herself to death. Although the police were continuing to investigate the shooting of 29-year-old Mary Woodson of Madison, New Jersey, Inspector Dan Jones said it looks like suicide. Mr. Jones said that the authorities had found a 3-page suicide note addressed to Mr. Green in the victim's purse. The inspector said it was written on stationery.
She wrote him a suicide note
police said the
after she threw the grits on him. Come on.
The 27.
Come on, bartender. You can't write no suicide note after you didn't throw the grits on the man. Come on, man. I told you the grits wrote the suicide notes. Nigga, stop bullshitting. Y'all motherfuckers, boy. I just say they need to be reading their own words, what they saying, you know, because they'll figure it out too. That lady didn't do that. The grits did that.
Of Madison, New Jersey, Inspector Dan Jones said it looks like suicide. Mr. Jones said that the authorities had found a 3-page suicide note addressed to Mr. Green in the victim's purse. The inspector said it was written on stationery from the hotel where Mrs. Woodson was staying.
That is kind of convenient. It was in her purse and it was addressed to Mr. Green, but she at Mr. Green's house. How the hell did that work? She addressed the suicide note to Mr. Green. Then why didn't she put it in the goddamn mailbox and mail it to him? Why did she show up at the house, then put the note in her purse, and then forget to mail it? So it was like, you know, it was gonna be like it showed up after she throwed the grits on him, you know, like the story supposed to go, right? That the damn thing. Dang, who is it? The mailman. It's a knock at the door. Who is it? The mailman. Here, your letter for you, Mr. Green. Yeah, baby. I committed suicide, and I just wanted to let the world know that that's what I did. It ain't your fault and shit. So you don't need no responsibility. You can blame it on me. But we know the grits did it.
The police said the shooting occurred at Mr. Green's home near Memphis. The 27-year-old singer who records for the High Recording Company has cut 5 consecutive hit songs, was hospitalized with second-degree burns on his back, arm, and stomach. A hospital spokesman said the burns were serious but not critical. Police Captain William Maley said that Mr. Green told him he returned to his home about 4 a.m. after recording a soundtrack for a new movie. He was accompanied by Carlotta Beth Williams, 21 years old, of Denver. Mr. Green told Captain Maley that he went upstairs to take a bath and was just getting out of the tub when Mrs. Woodson burst in, threw a pan of, quote, hot boiling grits, unquote, on him, and then ran out. The officer said Mr. Green told him that he then heard several shots and went into an adjoining room where he found Mrs. Woodson's body. A .38 caliber pistol registered to Mr. Green was found next to the body. Captain Green said,
he said she ran. How did he? Wait, okay. After she hit him with the grits, right? Did he go back under the water and try to get the grits off him? Because I mean, nigga, now you gotta get the grits off you. I mean, to do that, you gotta cool that shit down, right? So the best way to do it, you're already in the water. So is to go dump your ass back under the water. I know that tool was full, and then when you was pulling off them hot grits off your ass, off your back that you couldn't reach, because you had to get them hot grits off your back. You couldn't reach them, motherfucker. You couldn't reach the back. That wasn't like drop and roll. You know, like in a fire, you could drop and roll and get the fire off you, because you got to just put out your clothes. No, nigga, you ain't putting out the heat on them grits. It ain't no drop and roll. It's get them fucking grits off you, because they going to keep burning deeper and deeper into your skin. There's like, they just burnt the beginning layer, and it ain't stopped burning. Until you get them grits off you, it's going to keep burning through you. So he should have just jumped right back in the water. That water, no matter if it was hot or cold, I mean, I know it couldn't have been hot. It probably was warm. It would have cooled down them grits. Then they would have fell off. You know how grits get hot, hard after they cool down. And they would have kind of like dropped off. At least that heat would have went away. Then he could have washed them off and all that. And by that time, because I want to know, what was he at when this lady was shooting herself 7 times? They didn't tell me that part. And then, how was the gun they found registered to him? I thought she had her own gun. You know what I mean? She sent the letter. Then she's supposed to have her own gun too. what the fuck she need his gun for, and why is she mailing a fucking letter to his house, and she need his gun anyway. This shit don't sound right. What is you talking about?
Him that he then heard several shots stationary from the hotel where singer today as he was getting out of the bathtub, and then apparently shot him and caused him second and third degree burns on his back and his chest and his arms on that horrible night back in October of 1974. So here is an article back from when that actually happened. This is, and let me, go on and give you my sources for this before we go on and go any further. My sources are clearly the New York Times, so you can see Vibe, Boombox.com, and the Chicago Tribune. The articles date back from 1974 to as recent as 2015 that I'm using for this. And so, this is the article here. Obviously, you're not going to be able to read that, so I'll go on and tell you what that says. It says, a former girlfriend dumped a pan of scalding grits on Al Green, a popular singer, today as he was getting out of the bathtub and then apparently shot herself to death. Although the police were continuing to investigate the shooting of 29-year-old Mary Woodson of Madison, New Jersey, Inspector Dan Jones said it looks like suicide. Mr. Jones said that the authorities had found a 3-page suicide note addressed to Mr. Green in the victim's purse. The inspector said it was written on stationery from the hotel where Mrs. Woodson was staying. The police said the shooting occurred at Mr. Green's home near Memphis. The 27-year-old singer, who records for the High Recording Company, has cut 5 consecutive hit songs. Was hospitalized with second-degree burns on his back, arm, and stomach. A hospital spokesman said the burns were serious but not critical. Police Captain William Maley said that Mr. Green told him he returned to his home about 4 a.m. after recording a soundtrack for a new movie. He was accompanied by Carlotta Beth Williams, 21 years old, of Denver. Mr. Green told Captain Maley that he went upstairs to take a bath and was just getting out of the tub when Mrs. Woodson...
Slow down. What the fuck are you talking about? You just got home to your girlfriend, and then you brought some other lady home with you at 4 in the morning, and y'all talking about y'all just got through doing a recording for a movie. That shit don't even... Who you lying to? Y'all niggas must be drunk. And now y'all in the motherfucking shower having sex and shit. Man, y'all better get that shit out of here. Al Green was tripping.
Burst in through a pan of, quote, hot boiling grits, unquote, on him. Then William Maley...
I mean, what they acting like the lady disappeared and shit. They just forgot about that whole part of the story. How do you bring some lady home to your girlfriend and then she disappeared and all of a sudden you getting grits throwed on you? What happened to that other lady that you brought home? What the fuck was you bringing her home for anyway? That don't even sound right.
Said that Mr. Green told him he returned to his home about 4 a.m. after recording a soundtrack for a new movie. He was accompanied by Carlotta Beth Williams, 21 years old, of Denver. Mr. Green told Captain Maley that he went upstairs to take a bath and was just getting out of the tub when Mrs. Woodson burst in through a pan of, quote, hot boiling grits, unquote, on him, and then ran out. The officer said Mr. Green told him that he then heard several shots and went into an adjoining room where he found Mrs. Woodson's body. A .38 caliber pistol registered to Mr. Green was found next to the body.
Okay, now, if that don't sound, if the story still sound normal to anybody out there, I mean, just in case somebody out there think that this story sound normal, then I need one of y'all, or all of y'all, to try to shoot yourself 7 fucking times. If you can shoot yourself 7 times, motherfucker, especially in the head or some shit like that. Well, what the fuck? Nigga, was she playing Russian roulette, hit her ear, a nose, a lip, and then she finally hit her head, or some shit like that? How do you shoot yourself 7 times? That's all my thing. Wish she had a machine gun? Get the fuck out of here, man. And I'm just saying, in case anybody out there still think that this that these stories that these people be making up and don't even read it for their damn self sound normal, then that's all. I'm just saying. Then I know we can get some volunteers then. Cause nigga, if you can shoot yourself 7 times, motherfucker, before you gotta die, you goddamn, you must be missing a lot.
Captain Maley said. Mr. Green, originally from Arkansas, joined the Memphis-based Hiram Green in 1971. Since then, more than 20 million copies of his records have
first when your punk ass gonna be burning. Let me hurry him get this over with. This shit hurt.
been sold. His 5 consecutive hits are Tired of Being Alone,
I expect.
Call Me, Let's Stay Together, You Ought to Be With Me,
Love and
I'm
Happiness.
Still in Love With You.
Fuck no.
Last summer,
Love
Mr.
and
Green
Happiness.
was charged with assault and battery on the basis of a complaint filed by former Secretary Linda Wills, now 25.
Damn, she just fucking every bitch in the vicinity. Any bitch every bitch in any bitch is Al's bitch. And bitch, if you don't agree, you can get the fuck out. I guess that's what he told her, and she threw the grits on him.
Of Washington.
Any bitch and every bitch is Al's bitch.
On August 27th by a city court judge because of conflicting testimony. So, that's what that little article right there says. So now we're all caught up on what happened in 1974. So, that's not, though, that last part of that article, that is not the only story of Al Green beating on the women, but we'll get to that later. As you may or may not know, Al Green didn't find out Mary Woodson was a married woman with 4 children until after she committed suicide. According to Mary's family and friends.
God damn. He needed the internet real bad, huh, y'all? You mean this nigga couldn't find out that this lady was married with 4 kids until after the bitch committed suicide? Get out, man.
Al even unknowingly sent roses to Mary and her husband's home on September.
Come on, you see how motherfucker of a beast Al was? Any bitch and every bitch is my bitch if I want her. I don't even give a fuck if she married. I send roses to your house. Your husband better not say shit. Kind of. Who was Al Green? This nigga sound like a gangster.
Several occasions. Her husband allegedly turned a blind eye, not wanting to assume that she was having an affair or...
Her husband was scared as fuck. This nigga crazy as fuck. Any bitch and every bitch is Al's bitch.
That last part of that
and
article,
bitch better not disagree.
That's not the only story of Al Green beating on the women, but we'll
bitch
get to
better
that
not
later.
disagree.
As you may or may not know, Al Green didn't find out Mary Woodson was a married woman with 4 children until after she committed suicide. According to Mary's family and friends, Al even unknowingly sent roses to Mary and her husband's home on several occasions. Her husband allegedly turned a blind eye, not wanting to assume that she was having an affair or either not wanting to confirm.
Exquisite. Cantonese dim sum comes from
that bubble wrap,
and
y'all. Al
skill.
Green got bubble wrapped by one of them ladies who said, "I'm through with you, Al. You can have any bitch I want, you won't, and I can't even have my own fucking husband. Oh, fuck you, Al." You know what I mean? Al was real selfish, right? He the only one who could do any fucking, right? All the ladies had to be virgins. That was part of his ego problem, right? Al had a real bad ego problem. He need everybody else's energy. He like a vampire. He's sucking up your shit. He ain't got none. And I guess that's why he tried to get some from God. But God was like, nigga, I got my own motherfucking energy. I don't need your energy either, Al. So if your motherfucking selfish ass come over here, nigga, you better bring something to the table instead of acting like you gonna tell everybody else what the fuck to do, and all you know how to do is just be a 6-year-old motherfucking little kid. Nigga, you better grow up, Al. Still acting like you a fucking infant around this motherfucker. You too emotional, Al. You claiming everybody else feminine, nigga, but you the one with all the tendencies. Al, where your willpower at, Al? Where your motherfucking mutual respect, man? And as far as a heart at, motherfucker, you might have a good ass voice, but actions speak louder than words, and your motherfucking heart is missing, Al. It's kind of hard to believe you sensitive. Who writing all these songs?
That she was having an affair. Mary Woodson is often, again, the forgotten element of the hot grit story, but to her family and friends, apparently, what she did was really not a surprise to them. They say that there were a lot of warning signs that she was a bit of a troubled soul. You can see there that she's a beautiful woman. Apparently, she was 5'4" and very shapely and always dressed to the nines. And her family said that she pretty much had the ability to walk into a room and wrap any man that she wanted around her finger.
Yeah, the same way Al did. So the two right wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean? They both was two like shooting for the fucking stars. They was both stars and shit. How they gonna get along? I mean, it's just like they together because they just sucking up each other energy, but they ain't got no fucking energy. So that ain't gonna do nothing. That's a burnt out star. What they call that shit? A supernova. It's just a burnt out star, and y'all keep reaching and reaching. Y'all already passed the motherfucking atmosphere in the galaxy out there in some more motherfucking worlds with Captain Kirk and shit. Nigga, you can't go no higher. Y'all motherfuckers gotta come down now. Y'all gotta come down from love, because love ain't a fashion show. Nigga, the show is over. Because you know what happened? They actually did fall in love with each other. And then, so they were just like ego tripping, just showing off. Look at me, you need me more than I need you, and showing off. And then before you know it, nigga, they was both really in love, and that burnt each other out. They collided, right? And burnt each other out like a burning star, a nova, or whatever you call that shit when your star burn out.
But she had a rocky history with men in her life. According to someone who's a former friend of hers named Nora Drury, she would use her sex appeal to attract famous musicians like James Brown when they would go out to places in New Jersey and New York. And some say that it's almost as if
to the moon and back.
Was partying hard.
Both of them already been to the moon and back, bartender. They both looking for God's heart, right? But they ain't, they ain't ready to surrender yet. Something ain't happened to them to make them give up on all the rest of that vanity and then come back down to earth and then appreciate and look for the quality of life, not the quantity of life. Something ain't happened yet to intervene to make them start looking for the quality of life and start having some appreciation for that God is real and that God brought you in this world and God could take you out.
Hard to escape the pressures of being a very young 20.
Karma brought you in this world, and karma can take you out.
20-something-year-old mother and wife. Now, as far as dousing green with hot grits, her sister, Mary Woodson's sister, Jo James, says that she definitely did that. This is a quote. Quote, she definitely did that. That was her character, and they were the biggest, hottest pot of grits you'd ever seen.
Uh-oh.
Now, unquote.
Damn,
I have to say
kill
I have
Al
no clue how her sister would have known that.
Gotta throw Al into a grit volcano, man. Trying to put Al into a bubble wrap volcano, nigga. That nigga, they did Al worse than Richard Pryor, nigga. Did Al worse than Richard Pryor.
Did she just, want to be interviewed?
I mean, I'd rather get burnt by some damn lighter fluid or some shit like that than get burnt by some grits. Because I'm telling you, you can't get, the grits is like sticking to your ass. The lighter fluid shit, you kind of roll that shit out.
It's not like
if it ain't too bad, you know what I mean.
Snap her a picture
you can roll out that lighter fluid shit. You ain't rolling out no motherfucking grits.
Grits back in 1974. Did we have clout chasers back then? Anyway, here are a couple of things that her family members say went on with past relationships. The first one, they say that Mary Woodson, before her second marriage, that she had an affair.
That shit only lasts as long as you got some clothes on.
Had to have her.
Once your clothes burn off, you pretty safe. But them grits, oh no. But if he had on, but they say he didn't have on no clothes, so he threw in the first place. He didn't have no protection at all.
Her stomach pumped. And then they said that in another relationship, that Mary Woodson was sitting in a car with a guy who was her boyfriend at the time and questioned him about cheating on her. And after he confessed that she shot him in the foot. But they also said that he got back together with her. So now, according to Boombox.com, All of this happened before she ever met Al Green.
I told you that love shit is dangerous, nigga. If somebody love your ass, they gonna kill you. It ain't got nothing to do with. They keep talking about, you took advantage of me. It's that ego. It's that security thing blanket. Everybody need the security, and then they gonna find out at the end that the security it do come from. You can have a relationship with a human being, but it's gonna have to come from God, right? It's gonna have to come from a spiritual relationship. That's the only thing that's gonna cure that hunger, because anything else is just gonna make you fucking blame a person. If you put all of that responsibility and all of that energy into a person rather than to a spirit, then you're gonna blame the person. You know what I mean? But you know, you go and then that ain't even. And then at that point, you turning that person, blaming them for not being God. Nigga, they ain't God. How you gonna blame somebody because they ain't fucking God, man? Go find God, motherfucker, and blame God. Don't be talking about, oh, it's his fault and her fault. And nigga, what about the TV set? What about you got kidnapped and brought to a motherfucking strange ass place and given a whole nother culture, values from belief systems from another motherfucking culture, and you still wearing a motherfucking Halloween costume? What about that? Don't know who the fuck you is, what's your heritage, who your ancestors is, and none of that. Nigga, you still talking about I'm in love, motherfucker? You don't even know where you at. So I don't know how the fuck you gonna know who God is at, or who God is, and you still over there talking about my life is fucked up. Why? Because I'm in love. Oh, fuck that.
And she met him at a prison where she was visiting, and he was
That's
doing
what I
a charitable
say, man.
concert
I
for
don't know
some.
what kind of love they practicing, but they need to give God some credit before they fall in love. They need to first give God some credit and say, God, I love you because you taught me that I don't know what the fuck love is.
The prisoners, and
I
apparently
think
he
love
was
is a dollar
instantly
bill
attracted to her. And
or possessing somebody or telling everybody else they better follow all these rules so I could pretend that I know God or some shit like that. That they my God, my idol. They better follow these rules and be my idol. And then God gonna look at him and say, okay, you worshiping idols. Okay, well, you know what's gonna happen. Welcome back, nigga. You play with karma, you gonna get karma.
and they started dating. And Al Green says that he loved her, but she
You
wanted
play
to take things
stupid
a lot
game, you gonna
faster
get
than
stupid
he was
prizes.
ready for. And on that tragic Hot Grits night that Al Green explained in his book that he was in a Memphis recording studio
Don't
when he
put
got
everything before yourself and God. Then you do. How the fuck can you complain? You set your own fucking self up.
a call from a sheriff who said that Mary Woodson was arrested at
And you isolated the person that you're supposed to be in love with. Because you turned them into some damn idol instead of realizing that ain't nobody perfect, ain't nobody no idol, all this shit is bullshit. All you doing is just playing knock this thing off my shoulder and I'm gonna kill you. That's that's stupid.
Peabody Hotel for smoking marijuana. So he went to the police station and to bail her out, and he took her back to the music studio. Well, he was a bit of a ladies' man, and I guess that she thought she was the only one. But then another one of his friends, Carlotta Williams, who was mentioned in that New York.
Fuck you gonna tell me love ain't real? As many TV love stories as I done watched on TV, and you gonna tell me love ain't real? Man, I see that's stupid.
Times article, she showed up unannounced.
Then
and
you need to stop
gave a
watching
big hug
TV
at the
then.
music studio, and he was a little bit concerned about how Woodson was going to react, but it seemed like the two of the women were getting along well enough, and so he did make it clear, though, before they went back to his house, all three of them, that he had a whole lot of bedrooms and there wasn't going to be any kind of kinky encounter, quote, with the three of them. So
what the hell is down? Fuck all your excuses. How the hell do you go somewhere and bring some strange ass woman back home and talking about, oh, she gonna sleep in this bedroom, baby, and I got a big house and she needs somewhere to stay, and I don't want her to have to stay at a hotel tonight. There's you. Come on, stop, man. Y'all better get the hell out of my face with that.
Williams, she began to feel some tension. Now, this is the flight attendant, the one who showed up unexpectedly. So she just straight away went to one of the spare guest rooms as soon as they got to his house. She said that she had an early flight in the morning. Remember, she's a flight attendant. And so Al Green found Miss Woodson in his kitchen at the stove stirring a pot of water before he went up to take his shower. And according to him, he asked her, Al, honey, have you ever thought of getting married? And married, that's what he replied, maybe we should talk about this in the morning, baby. And he says that they kissed, and she said, you know, Al, I would never do anything to hurt you. And he said that he was confused by her saying that, but he didn't suspect anything was wrong, so he went on and went upstairs, took off his clothes, and to take a bath, started brushing his teeth when he heard a sound behind him. And he says in his book,
you know what? I apologize, y'all, but the whole story sounds like bullshit, and I don't know how this happened, but I think Al must have some kind of way talked to her into having a threesome or something. She went along with that shit, and halfway through that shit, she changed her mind and said, you dirty, no good, rob motherfucker, you ain't never gonna be mine, and you fucking up my love story. And then plotted on him and got him later after they did a threesome or something. I don't believe that shit that somebody came over and went to the motherfucking room and then your girlfriend threw some grits on you. No, nigga, something had to fucking push her over the fucking edge. Because you ain't no way you brought some lady 21 years or some lady home and told her to go stay in one of my rooms, you know, just at random. No.
I looked up just in time to see Mary's reflection in the mirror. She had a steaming pot
Stop lying, nigga. Who wrote that bullshit for you, Al? So no, you didn't even write your own fucking songs.
Anything was wrong, so he went on and went upstairs, took off his clothes, and to take a bath, started brushing his teeth when he heard a sound behind him. And he says in his book, I looked up just in time to see Mary's reflection in the mirror. She had a steaming pot in both of her hands. And he says, quote, in the next second, my world exploded into 1,000 splatters of pure agony. Mary had added grits to the water, making a thick, boiling...
I've had so much energy green tea, I could
She had 2 pots or 1 pot. Because, I mean, you know, this nigga, he adding shit to the story. I mean, she had a boiling pot in both hands. Nigga, did she have 2 or 1 pot?
With all her strength, she hurled it at me,
Ain't that
splashing the
bitch?
bathroom walls and scorching my naked back. The pain was so intense that I wasn't sure what was happening for a moment. And he says that his screaming alerted the other girl who was there, the flight attendant, Williams, and she opened the bedroom door. Al Green says that he pushed past her and ran into a bathroom, and she helped him get into a bathtub and turned on some cold water.
That's what I said.
Shower.
That's what I said. I said, nigga, you got to go get in the shower now. You got to go get in the shower now. So I don't know when the lady had time to shoot herself 7 times. And why is this other, and how this other lady gonna all of a sudden hear some screaming and she gonna come to your rescue up out the back of her room while she's sleeping? Nigga, if you don't get your bitch ass out of here and stop lying to me, whoever wrote your punk ass book, Al Green, talking about the other lady coming to your punk ass rescue and gonna help you get in the shower naked. Fuck out of here.
And he says, I screamed again, bent over and started to black out when I suddenly heard over the thundering spray of the shower the sound of a loud bang. He said, I looked at Carlotta, again the flight attendant, and she looked at me. It was as if we both knew that something terrible was unfolding around us, and all we could do was stand in horrible, helpless witness. Then another bang, and the sickening, unmistakable sound of something heavy hitting the floor. Woodson had retreated to a bedroom after scalding Green, grabbing his gun, and she fired 1 shot into a wall before killing herself with the second bullet.
Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. I thought the bitch was in the room. How the fuck she run out the room and get another gun? What the fuck's going on here? Nigga, they should have arrested his ass for fucking lying. How the fuck, what you mean she went and got another gun and then start shooting herself again? The fuck out of here.
He heard over the thundering spray of the shower the stare of the flight attendant Williams, and she opened the bedroom door. Al Green says that he pushed past her and ran into a bathroom, and she helped him get into a bathtub and turned on some cold
I
water.
thought he was in the fucking bathtub in the first fucking place when he fucking the grits got thrown on him. So you telling me that the nigga really came out of her fucking room, he was in there fucking her, and he got the fucking grits thrown on him in the room, and then he ran into the bathroom, him and that bitch, and tried to put some water on. The fuck you mean he ran? How do he run past her unless he in her fucking room? Fuck out of here.
Water from the shower, and he says I screamed again, bent over and started to black out when I suddenly heard happening for a moment. And he says that his screaming alerted the other girl who was there, the flight attendant Williams, and she opened the bedroom door. Al Green says that he pushed past her and ran into a bathroom, and she helped him get into a bathtub and turned on some cold water from the shower. And he says I screamed again, bent over and started to black out when I suddenly heard over the thundering spray of the shower the sound of a loud bang. He said I looked at Carlotta, again the flight attendant, and she looked at me. It was as if we both knew that something terrible was unfolding around us, and all that we could do was stand in horrible, helpless witness. Then another bang, and the sickening, unmistakable sound of something heavy hitting the floor. Woodson had retreated to a bedroom after scalding Green, grabbing his gun, and she fired one shot into a wall before killing herself with the second bullet. And like the other article said, that the suicide note was found in her purse.
Wait a minute. First, you said that she got shot 7 times. No, fuck what you said. The article said that she got shot 7 motherfucking times. That's what the police said. But this lady is confused too. I mean, I ain't trying to put her down, y'all, but she fucking confused too. How the fuck you just gonna read the article that says she got shot 7 times? Then all of a sudden you agreeing with it, what Al and that stupid bitch said. I think that they shot that bitch because the gun in them don't hold no fucking 7 bullets. It's a 32. That shit hold about 6 bullets. I probably only had 2 in the motherfucker, but either way it go, I think that nigga reloaded on her ass. Put it like that. I think, and they talking about she hit the wall. No, she didn't hit the wall. The bitch was running, and Al was shooting at her motherfucking ass. And he had to reload on her motherfucking ass, nigga. That's why she didn't get a shot to the head. Because she was running, and he was hitting her in the body, and then he finally shot her ass in the head. I want to hear that shit about how the fuck she hit a wall, and he come running up out of some room, and nigga, I thought you was already in the bathroom. See, get the fuck out of here.
Now, here's where I'm
When she threw the grits on him, he said he just got out the bathtub.
Or at least they're saying 2 shots.
And she rushed in there. And my complaint with this lady is that you read the article and you still like confused about, don't you see you got 2 different stories here? The people fucking said she got shot 7 times. And your punk ass just said she got shot 2 times.
Story said that there were several
You don't even
shots,
question what you read.
I found it a little bit odd.
I mean, my point is, you need to question what you read, lady.
And yes, there have been conspiracy theories that perhaps Al Green shot her, and there was, this big police cover-up to help him get away with it because he was a known woman beater, but he was a known woman beater with deep pockets. So there's the thought that, maybe he just paid the police off to kind of make it go away. And then, also a little bit odd that after this incident, he just goes cold turkey, stone cold Christian. So, I can't say that I believe the conspiracy theories, but I am willing to entertain them as possible. But apparently, Later, they found out that Mary Woodson had tried to kill herself just days before that night as well. So that does, also lend
Get the
some
fuck out of
credibility to the
here,
fact that
lady.
she probably did kill herself
Get
as
the
well.
fuck out of
They said
here.
that she tried to kill herself just days before this incident by slitting her wrist and again taking a bunch.
Hold up, bitch. She don't give a fuck about no Al Green. She trying to get the fuck away from Al Green. Al Green is the one keeping her prisoner, bitch. You's a stupid motherfucker. I thought you supposed to be for women rights and shit, and supposed to be looking out for your sisters. You fucking just that's because I got a problem with you. You agreeing with everything, Al Green. All them lies that don't make sense either. And your punk ass act like I'm thinking you got paid off, motherfucker.
Bunch of sleeping pills. So Al Green had previously written that song "Sha La La" for Mary Woodson prior to all of this horrible stuff happening, and he said that he will forever love Mary Woodson and that he's forever grateful to her. He said that she's the only person who predicted that he would eventually be singing for the Lord and have his own church 10 years prior to that ever even being a thought in his mind. He said that he chuckled at her statement and jokingly told her that she was crazy for thinking he'd ever do that. But it turns out that's exactly what he did, and he's still singing gospel and preaching his sermons to this day at his Full Gospel Tabernacle Church, which is located in his hometown in Memphis. Now, remember I told you that we would get back to his story about abusing women? Well, he married his wife in November of 1977 after all of this stuff with Mary Woodson. 2 days later, now this is according to her, an article that I found from her in the Chicago Tribune, after, she says that she came out with her story after Nicole Brown Simpson was killed because she just felt compelled to help people who were in domestic violence situations. So she says 2 days later, after they got married, that she was roused from her sleep in the middle of the night and beaten severely with an acoustic guitar over a disagreement about sex. By April 1978, this was just months before their first wedding anniversary. She said that she filed for divorce, alleging that she had suffered
bitch, I ain't gotta
brutal
buy no motherfucking sex from you, bitch. You ain't supposed to be no prostitute. You supposed to be my wife. Fuck you mean? I gotta buy some sex from you already. What the fuck's going on? I married you, bitch. What you mean buy something, bitch? You already got half. Now I still gotta buy some pussy from you? Is you fucking crazy?
beatings at the hands of her husband.
She's supposed to get the fuck out, and not only get her ass beat, but now she done robbed the man. Cause now not only cause not that he wants some sex, he want to be in love and all that. But bitch, if you ain't proving it, then you not only is you an actor, but he feel like he ain't gotta act no more. If the love ain't real, then ain't no more connection here. I ain't getting no more energy, and you just a vampire draining me. Then fuck that shit, and I'm just buying something. No, lady, I thought you really loved me. That means, motherfucker, you not respect, but appreciate your own motherfucking self. Fuck wrong with you? I don't give a fuck about your vagina. I cared about you being able to appreciate what we doing together. All this, you gonna go ice cold on me and be like, I'm gonna complain so much until you get rid of me. What, bitch? Then you rob me, and then I gotta put a foot up your ass.
Eventual 8-time Grammy Award-winning gospel artist who once sang "Love and Happiness" was anything but, I guess, lovely and happy. He slapped her, shoved her, threatened her, she said. She said that he kicked her. He once beat her again with that guitar. And because she scratched his car once, he punched her in the face. In August, it was time for them to go on the road. She used to sing backup for him. They traveled to Florida, where he was scheduled to perform for...
Oh, man, now I understand Ike and Tina Turner. I didn't understand that relationship before. But she finally had to go because it was like, you can't rob Ike. If you in love, bitch, you better really be in love. And then she finally had to tell Ike what the fuck love got to do with it, remember? She said, bitch, if you want to be with me, you really better be in love. But see, Ike wasn't going to... I guess Ike was a pimp, so he didn't really fall in love. But he gave her what she wanted. So what love had to do with it? Bitch, you ain't going to shoot me and kill me or rob me because you fell in love, bitch. I'm a gift just like you a gift. What make your gift worth more than my gift?
2 weeks at a hotel. She says, quote, we were on our way to the hotel and I was supposed to, but did not know the lodging arrangements, and he beat me in the car across the face and, quote, swole my face. She testified in a sworn deposition in 1982 as part of her divorce filing. My eyes were black.
No, he didn't want no handicapped lady. He was like, bitch, you better learn to do something. I didn't sign up for this, you to be a fucking porno star, no goddamn handicapped jury kid in a fucking wheelchair, and you need all this motherfucking attention. Bitch, you gotta bring something to the table too. I told you to make reservations for the motherfucking thing, and you acting like you too lazy to even do that. Hell yeah, I'm pissed off. What's wrong with your lazy ass? I ain't saying he should have did what he did, but evidently he been warning her for a long ass time, and she's still acting handicapped and shit, like she need him to do everything for her, and she ain't learning to do shit for herself, and that's why her parents put her ass out the house, and now he changed his mind and got to put her ass out too. He thought he was looking for love, and he ain't finding it in no human being. That's why he got to find it in God, in the spirit.
She said. The next morning, she says that he beat her again, this time for not being ready on time. That's what she also put in that same deposition. She said that bruised and battered, she went on, patting on makeup over dark spots, and singing back up for concerts. Kind of puts you in the mind of that whole Tina Turner movie. And then she says one night during the 2-week stint, she was awakened suddenly by Al Green. She said he, quote, woke me up out of my sleep and said that I was going to be a lady, unquote. And she said that he just started beating me. She still, apparently to this day, or at least at the time of that article, carries a scar near her left eye where she says that Al inflicted as he beat her that night with a hand mirror.
He learned that from his grandmama, y'all. The extension cord, hand mirror, broom, stick handle, nigga, mop handle, it don't matter. Al grandmama must have been putting it down. He learned that shit from somewhere. Nigga, he didn't just learn that shit from Sesame Street. They didn't have Sesame Street when he was growing up, man. He learned that shit from somewhere, y'all.
And was killed because she just felt compelled to help people who were in domestic violence situations. So she says 2 days later, after they got married, that she was roused from her sleep in the middle of the night and beaten severely with an acoustic guitar over a disagreement about sex. By April 1978, this was just months before their first wedding anniversary, she said that she filed for divorce, alleging that she had suffered brutal beatings at the hands of her husband and life with the eventual...
Because you was trying to run away. You tricked him. You just suckered him in. He was really looking for love. He was tired of being a playboy. I don't want to be a player no more. You sucked him in and tricked his ass. What love got to do with it? He should have been listening to Tina.
8-time Grammy Award-winning gospel artist who once sang Love and Happiness was anything but, I guess, lovely and happy. He slapped her, shoved her, threatened her, she said. She said that he kicked her. He once beat her again with that guitar. And because she scratched his car once, he punched her in the face.
Johnny be good.
In August, it was...
You went to hit her with Chuck Berry guitar because that nigga don't play guitar.
Time for them to go on the road. She used to sing backup for him. They traveled to Florida, where he was scheduled to perform for
Chuck
2
Berry
weeks at a
guitar.
hotel.
Johnny
She
be
says,
good.
quote, we were on our way to the hotel, and I was supposed to, but did not know the lodging arrangements, and he beat me in the car across the face and, quote, swole my face. She testified in a sworn deposition in 1982 as part of her divorce filing. My eyes were black, she said. The next morning, she says that he beat her again, this time for...
It was black. What happened to the blue part?
Not being ready on time. That's
bitch, you ain't ready on time,
bitch.
Don't you know you ain't been watching Ike and Tina Turner? You ain't learning shit. You's a lazy motherfucker. Acting all helpless. This ain't Jerry Kidd's house, bitch.
Oh, my face. She testified in a sworn deposition in 1982 as part of her divorce filing.
And no fucking helpless people in this house, bitch. You gotta do your own work. You gotta put some work in.
were black.
You gotta dig way deep down in here.
She said. The next morning, she says that he
teach you how to be a lady tonight. Like that other lady said, tonight is tonight. I'll make you a woman.
beat her again, this time for not being ready on time.
Hell
That's
yeah,
she also
tonight
put
is
that
the
same
night.
Position.
Over 800,000 people died from
If you want to be in
cardiovascular
love and shit and pretend,
disease in the United States.
we're gonna test your ass and see how
Those
deep
numbers
is
are
your
getting
love.
worse.
Keep talking about you in love and shit. We're gonna see how deep your love is.
80% of people.
How deep is your love?
She said that bruised and battered, she went on, patting on makeup over dark spots and singing backup for concerts. Kind of puts you in the mind of that whole Tina Turner movie. And then she says one night during the 2-week stint, she was awakened suddenly by Al Green. She said he, quote, woke me up out of my sleep and said that I was going to be a lady, unquote.
Prove it! Prove it!
And she said that he just started beating me. She still, apparently to this day, or at least at the time of that article, carries a scar near her left eye where she says that Al inflicted as he beat her that night with a hand mirror. I guess it broke on her face. And so in April, when she was 5 months pregnant, she went to Philadelphia.
What do this lady expect? He just got some fucking grits thrown on him. Nigga having flashbacks, can't get to sleep, dreaming about women throwing grits on a nigga every night, having nightmares. And everybody acting like Al is all normal and he's back to the same old love and happiness Al. Would you, if somebody threw some fucking grits on you, wouldn't you be paranoid? And wouldn't you be unforgiving after that? And the first time a motherfucker make a mistake, you gonna put him in check because you really overprotected for yourself because you done been through some motherfucking trauma like that? Even though you might have caused that shit, you still gonna be traumatized by somebody throwing some grits on you. So if that lady think that a motherfucker just gonna recover just because the grits healed, bitch, don't mean his mind healed. So fuck her. She was inconsiderate. She lied to him, and he was like and he felt confused. She's lucky he didn't take her, pull a OJ on her punk ass.
She had to be with her husband, and he was performing there, and the court records do show that. And she said that she was spotting and feeling weak, and she didn't feel up to having sex. Well, she testified that he beat her with a boot and tore up all of her clothes with the exception of one dress. So she returned to Memphis, where a doctor treated her head wounds, including a wound that required 10 stitches. So after that boot incident, she filed for divorce, but within months, she dropped the divorce complaint and returned back to Al Green. And now she ended up having 3 daughters by him in that marriage, and none of them were old enough to remember what happened at that time. However, there are other members of her family, including sisters and 2 children from a previous marriage, that all do corroborate her stories of abuse. But perhaps the most damning witness is Al Green himself, who, under oath, admitted to striking his wife while acknowledging the existence of domestic violence from the beginning of the marriage. In November, Al Green agreed to be interviewed for this story that I'm using for this article, but then he later backed out and apparently never agreed again to be interviewed as far as this story was concerned. But still, in a written answer to a divorce complaint filed by his wife in 1981, Al Green denied in 1982 that throughout the marriage he had been guilty of physical cruelty, of threatening to harm his wife or having a violent temper.
Hold up, fuck all this shit. Why is it only a one-way street in these punk-ass domestic violence stories? They always talking about what the man did, Even, because we know Al ain't really a bad person. I don't give a fuck what they say. He just was a fucking superstar, and he could and every lady liked him. So how the fuck is that a crime? The only crime is that motherfuckers trying to own him and tell him, you gotta get married, follow all these rules. The fucking rules is the crime. And if you don't follow these rules, your wife's gonna shoot you and throw some grits on you. Some shit like that. How is this,
However, In a sworn testimony, he admitted.
Why is it always the one-sided of is the woman? What about what she did? She done told this man, I love you and all this, and I got your back. And then when she got with him, she just became a fucking dead weight. Didn't want to carry her own weight. Bitch probably was messy as fuck. Didn't clean up after, didn't clean up shit. Throw clothes all over the fucking room and shit. I mean, just totally acting like a big ass kid. And he was like saying, like, you gotta grow up and be a fucking adult. Like, you gotta be a lady. That's what these motherfuckers said. No, he was telling her, be a fucking adult, be responsible. I told you, make reservations for something, or if I tell you something to do, an errand to run, you supposed to do that. You know what I mean? And just like I'm doing my part, you supposed to do your part. What the fuck you don't see about that? But that was what it was. She was just trying to hook his ass, get him for his money, and get on. And then he found out that that's what she was doing, and then that's where all that anger came from. And he already got some grits stowed on him before. Oh no, he had to get rid of these bitches and just go be a Christian again or something.
To abusing his wife, although he maintained that not without
They
provocation.
trying to make it seem like it was all his fault.
Classic beater talk, right?
Yeah, one-way street
right?
story. One way.
For her inability to have sex with him once, Shirley Green said under oath in 1980.
And just because you a woman and you got some sex and shit, that's the first thing y'all gonna use to say, oh, he abused me because he said he wanted some sex and I told him no. What the fuck, them bitch? That don't ever. What the fuck you and your sex? Fuck is you talking about? You told me you loved me and you wanted to marry me. This ain't got a goddamn thing to do with sex. Leave that out the goddamn story.
You too, that her husband.
Bitch, either you love me or you don't. And if you was lying and faking, then let's fucking separate. Don't fucking incriminate my character and all that too. Don't embarrass me and make me look like the fucking villain. And bitch, you was the one who set this shit up. You was the one who reneged on the deal too. You was bullshitting. You was a fucking lazy motherfucker, and you wanted everything for free. And then I seen that shit. You wouldn't even do shit, and then you was looking for reasons to run away and to get a divorce anyway. So get your ass on.
And beat her with a boot. Again, that was when she was 5 months pregnant, and in response to that was when they asked about him doing that, he says, "Are you stating that at any time?" The question was to Al Green, "Are you stating that at any time you beat your wife, it was because of some type of provocation or harassment?" That's what her attorney asked, and he says, "Yes, the beating of my wife. I kind of reject that because beating is a cruel word to me. Being slapped around, well, yeah." And so, again, classic abuser talk. They always minimize what they did. He doesn't want to say beating. He just slapped her down. It's a cruel act, Mr. Green. That's what the attorney said. He says, yeah, well, it's cruel. It's more scars on the mind than it is on the surface, though. So, again, interesting abuser talk, So, thankfully, though, his wife, Shirley Green.
But even if you hit your wife or your girlfriend or something, it's like that don't make you like.
Did make out a lot. So in addition to this being some old 1970s.
That don't make you no mean person because evidently that person must have did something to provoke that much aggression out of you. And at that point, it's either y'all fucking gotta go or motherfucker is just telling you, give me some space, get the fuck on. That's kind of like what that is. If you hitting on a motherfucker, that's the last resort. It's time to go.
70s T, let it be a cautionary tale. I think that if a man will beat you once, that he will beat you twice. And if he's willing to...
So she can keep on bragging about all this domestic violence, bitch. Get the fuck out. That's what the man said, and leave all of the shit that ain't wasn't yours before you got here. So they need to stop all this man bashing shit. No, this story go two fucking ways, motherfuckers. Fuck that.
To do that, he's willing to
That
go...
lady could have been she could have been beating him up in another way. She was just as vicious as they trying to say. She was more vicious than what they saying he is. he hit her ass a couple of times. This bitch then totally just like drove him crazy.
Even further, so
Stressed him out.
we'll take the story as we have it.
But they don't look at that stress abuse. They don't look at when motherfuckers stress you out. They don't say, oh, that ain't the same thing as somebody hitting you. What the fuck, bitch made motherfuckers? That's what's wrong with they punk ass laws, man. They know that's bullshit, man. It's time
Mary
to go.
Woodson did commit suicide, but again, because of just
Only thing
some
holding
of the
this shit
details, just
together,
a couple of little
bitch
details
ass
being a little
laws.
sketchy, I could see it being a possibility that Al Green could have killed her. But what do you think about it? That's all that I have on this particular story.
I bet
Please
you don't got
put
shit.
some comments down below. Let's get a conversation
You
going.
ain't got shit.
Did this woman throw grits on him
Except that man hating.
and just kill herself? Is
Stop
it
the man
possible that
hating.
there's more to the story than we know? Of course, that's always a
Stop
possibility.
the man hate,
What
bartender.
else?
Stop the man
Whatever
hate.
kind of comments you have, do you know
Yeah,
more about this story? Have you
Yeah,
heard more
nigga, I
about
know
the
that
story?
you
Did
ain't
you
paying
already
attention to
know
what the fuck
that,
you reading.
There was anything
Next
more
time,
to it than he got grits
but you
thrown on
forgiving
him.
though.
That's just something that
Ain't
I've
nobody
always heard
perfect.
and heard
Thank
people
you.
laugh about.
Another
I've
day in
even
Karma's
laughed about
kitchen.
it, and I
Fair
didn't
use and
realize
educational
the person who
purpose.
threw the grits
What's in the oven?
committed suicide that same
Bartender.
night. I never heard that part of the story. So let me know what.
Burn the lie, burn the lie. Oh, shit. Burn the lie, burn the lie, bartender. She has been accused of witchcraft and harassing.
30th, 1431, Rouen, France. A girl of 19 is taken by soldiers to the stake, where she'll be burned alive. She's been accused of heresy, witchcraft, and, of all things, cross-dressing.
Oh,
the first two
hell
charges
no.
are bogus. Of the third
Thought
offense,
she was
is
a
guilty
man.
and proud. She's tied to a
I mean,
pillar
she's a
with
lesbian
logs
back in
stacked
the day.
below her. Her bare, tender feet grace the planks. A Christian
That's
cross stands in
bullshit.
front of her.
They
The
threw
fire
that
is
in
lit.
there.
Smoke bellows
I don't
into
believe
the
that.
woman's face. The monstrous flame.
LGB threw that in there. Fuck you mean she thought she was a man? They knew that she was gonna get burnt back then. Hell no.
Tickle her feet, flicking around her ankles like a serpent's tongue. In seconds, she's engulfed by an inferno.
I
What are
believe
to
it.
her enemies the purifying flames. The skin melts from her face, and
Yeah, they
she's
trying to
done.
get the demon
her
out.
name was Joan of Arc,
Clean her
or
up.
Jeanne d'Arc to her friends.
Get her
What you might be
purified.
thinking now is, wow, that must have been one horrible way to die. After all, we guess most of you have gotten too close to a flame at one point in your life and
Yeah, some
howled
motherfuckers
out
like
loud.
that shit.
Burning hurts, even if it's just your fingertip getting too close to a grill. We can
I
tell you
know
this,
better.
after today's show,
They
you
trying to
won't
get-
want to mess
nigga,
with
they-
fire again.
Some of them people like that, man. They trying to, the hotter the better. They trying to get front row seat at the Travis Scott concert, nigga. They trying to make it to hell early, nigga. Fuck, waiting in the airport and the transfer flights and shit, connecting flights, nigga. They trying to go directly to hell.
But what about young Joan when she was standing in the middle of the conflagration? How much did that hurt? How long does it take to die from burning? How does it actually kill you? Just how burned do you have to be to die? Can you survive a
You get
full body
magnetic.
burning? All will be answered shortly. Okay, so we should first tell you that Joan of Arc didn't die from being cooked to death. It was the smoke that killed her. The Cardinal of Winchester saw that parts of Joan still vaguely resembled her, so he ordered her to be burned again. After that, he noticed some of her organs were stubbornly
ain't
hanging
done
around,
yet.
so he ordered a third fire.
Put it back on the
Only
grill.
then was he content that she'd been purified. The whole trial was in fact a travesty of justice, but that's
She
another
ain't
story.
done yet.
Being
Put her
burned to
back
death as
on
a
the
form of
grill. She
execution
ain't
goes back to ancient
purified.
times. It has been in vogue at some point just about
Purified.
everywhere in the world. The Romans wrote that the Carthaginians burned very young people as a form of sacrifice. And that might seem like Roman fake news propaganda to put people off their enemy, but modern archaeologists have backed it up. It was the Romans that said the ancient Druids of Gaul had
Burned
perhaps the
alive.
worst sacrifice of all, maybe even matching their own brutality. Damn hypocrites. That was the
Purified.
use of the Wicker Man, a term you've likely heard before, but you might not have known its origins. This was a multi-story kind of sacrifice, an all-in-one execution consisting of a bunch of innocent people packed into a giant man made of wicker. Folks would be stuffed into the effigy's torso, legs, and arms, and then the entire thing would go up in flames to the sound of screaming. That's what the Romans said anyway. Some people think it might not have existed. There's no shortage of stories relating to human burning as an execution. In Europe during the witch trials, which spanned from 1450 to 1750, maybe around 40 to 50,000 women were killed, many of them burned at the stake. In England, during the Middle Ages, a woman might have been burned to death for counterfeiting cash, killing her husband, or even getting in on the wrong side of her superior. Hordes of people would turn up for this day out so they could watch as the guilty gal screamed on the pyre.
Nigga, I told you to try to get a front row seat Travis Scott concert.
We should say it happened to men too, but not for high treason. For that, they were hanged, drawn, and quartered.
Quartered. See this part right here and that part right there. Only thing left after they pull you apart, I think, is this part and that part, bartender.
The English thought it was
Damn.
bad manners to do this to a woman, so they
Look, I got
politely
4
burned her.
horses.
Okay, you get the point. We have a lot to go on when we're talking about this as the worst.
One
way
horse
to die.
on each
It
arm
was
and
common,
leg.
if not absolutely brutal. Generally speaking, when the fire was lit, the condemned person had enough time to get a few words out before the flames were stoked by the fanning of the wind.
Who the fuck is that? The Ku Klux Klan? Nigga, why he got a hood over his head and shit? Who the fuck is that, Casper?